What's up, everybody? Got the holiday backdrop. And yes, while you're looking at it and you're thinking to yourself, is that tree spinning? The answer is yes. The Christmas tree actually spins. It's kind of cool. So you get to watch it spin behind me. 20 minutes. I will not do more than that. I have two topics. Today's episode of The Hobby with Cage, episode 176, brought to you by Arena Club and Bleaker Trading. Look at that. Pretty awesome. I get to have a shirt with both sponsors on it. Fun stuff to talk about. A couple things. Housekeeping. Number one, thanks to Jeremy Lee for inviting me on his show on Saturday nights. He's got a Sports Card Live where he has a lot of guests coming on. I had some fun. About a week and a half ago I was on. Maybe I'll try to get on again this week. He always tells me come on with some topics. I got two topics to talk about with you guys today that may be a little too, I don't want to say risque, maybe a little too button pushing for Jeremy's show. But maybe I'll bring them up. We'll see what happens. But I got two for today. And before I get into them, you can tell from the title what they are. We're going to talk, man. We're going to talk Beckett. We're going to talk Fanatics Fest in June. We're going to talk some stuff that's on top of mind there. Before I get into that, I got my Spotify Wrapped. Wow. So an interesting thing about it, it's pretty cool. It's a nice little thing. You know, validates that there's people out there watching and listening. I guess with Spotify, it's really just listening, although they're pushing video now. It's not the YouTube. And what's crazy about it is, I get just as many people watching on YouTube, if not, I got YouTube watchers and I have podcast listeners. There's more combined podcast listeners. But what's funny is about 80% of my audience listens through Apple Podcast. It's only about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 listeners, the audio one, are listening through Spotify. But when you get that Spotify Wrapped and you see that you are, a top podcast for 200 and something people on Spotify alone, that's pretty awesome. If you get your Spotify Wrapped and you happen to be listening to this and, I came up as your, one of your top podcasts, send me a message. Whether you're somebody I talk to on the daily to talk about cards or it's somebody who's never reached out to me before, send me a message. That way I can thank you. And I do mean that. Everybody of the, that 200 and something folks who I'm a top podcast for, and the rest of you, the 1,000, 2,000, or whatever the number is right now that download an episode when it's new for the first, 24 hours. I appreciate every one of you. My wife appreciates you more because, what she would say is getting to talk to you guys means I don't have to talk to her about this stuff. And she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to talk about Beckett or Fanatics. So you guys are doing me a favor. Keep my marriage happy over here. Keep my wife happy and helping me out. But no, seriously, I do want to thank you guys because this is fun. I mean, I enjoy this. You give me a platform, you give me the ability to talk, and I love the conversations that come from these podcasts that I get in. Even Ian likes it. That I get in, the DMs on Instagram. Some of the conversations are a lot of fun. I get to post stories like today about Fanatics Fest. So anyway, that was real nice to see that Spotify Wrapped come out and, people posting stuff today, showing that, my podcast, is a top podcast for them. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you. And please share those with me. This way I can thank you personally. So let's talk. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk. I'm a little caffeinated today. I'm drinking some soda. I was caffeinated all day today. I posted a bunch of stories about FanFest because I knew that this June thing was happening. I knew it was happening for a while. I haven't done Cage 6's rumors in a while, but, I get a lot of information from a lot of people. And I knew this one was happening. And I knew that, once they were moving away from the regional kind of Pittsburgh, Orlando shows, they were just going to come back to New York. And I also knew that it was going to be in June. It's interesting that, the same week that the national tickets came up for sale, they're making a push for tickets on FanFest. I'm not 100% certain of this. I should have looked it up for the podcast. I will look it up now, but somebody told me that this is at the same time as the Chantilly show is scheduled for. I didn't look at the Chantilly card show schedule for 2025, but that wouldn't surprise me. because last year's Fan Fest, if you guys remember, I went on Friday. I took my son on Saturday to the East Coast National in White Plains, New York, and then Sunday took my son to Fan Fest. So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And yes, there it is, June 20th to the 22nd, 2025, the Chantilly Show. So, I mean, yet again, they're going to go head-to-head with the group of folks who, are also involved in the National. That's an interesting piece. But we're not going to talk about that because I don't believe, and here's my first and foremost, I don't believe that this is a competitor to Chantilly or even the National itself. One of the things that people asked me right off the bat was, do you think they did this Fanatics Fest in June ahead of the National this year to get people to go to that instead of going to the National? And while I'm sure there are going to be some people who do that, I mean, I talked about it last year. I went to that instead of the National. I didn't want to go to Cleveland. Chicago this year, it's easy. And I'm sure there's some people who'd rather go to New York and hang out and the whole deal. I don't really think it vultures anything from the collector's side of the showcase. I have friends who want to go to the Fan Fest, called me immediately afterwards, and, they want to see the wrestling stuff. They're wrestling fans. They want to go, see the WWE characters. They want to go and see everybody kind of dressed up, more of the quote unquote Fan Fest piece of it that the National just doesn't really have. I will tell you that last time the Fan Fest happened, I talked to some folks at Fanatics afterwards, folks who aren't there anymore, about, hey, I got some suggestions. I have some ideas. And, when you do this next time, I have some great ideas. I do. And I've dropped those in the ears of some people as well. And none of them are coming to fruition. It would be very easy for Fanatics to do some very small things and make the tickets a real hot commodity this week. And I doubt they're going to be that hot of a commodity for a myriad of reasons. And let's talk about it, right? So just in case anybody doesn't know, the announcement came out this week that, Fanatics Fan Fest is going to be in June of 2025. And tickets go on sale to the public, I believe, the 13th. So maybe in a week they go on sale to the public. And there is a pre-sale, I think the 5th to the 8th. So starting today, for people who bought tickets last time around. Not only did I buy tickets, multiple tickets last time around, I bought a VIP pass last time. Why I don't think they're going to sell. One, I don't think they sell out. I mean, the Javits Convention Center is a huge, huge venue. And I think last time around, they were hoping to have 100,000 people there. They say they got 70,000. I don't really think they got 70,000, but who am I? I wasn't there counting the people who came in. So we're just going to have to trust that they got 70,000. But they were selling tickets on the day of. And I'm sure they'll be selling tickets the day of this year. So to get people to buy in a pre-sale, what's funny about it is, I got an email today. I posted about it in my story. I got an email, hey, buy. We're giving you, as a person who bought last year, we're giving you special access to buy early. Okay, well, this isn't the World Series, right? As much as you want to market it as the World Series of hobby shows, it's a card show. You know what I mean? It's a card show. It's it's an event that to activate any of the cool things, right? Whether you want to call the lids hats cool or buying cards cool or getting autographs from somebody cool. It's once you get in, you still have to pay more, right? It's not a get in and everything's included kind of thing, right? This isn't, the Taylor Swift concert that is going to sell out in the first 3 minutes and bots are attacking the website. There are no bots to buy FanFest tickets. So opening the window to buy early, who's going to do that? For what reason? And I'll throw it out there and ask a question, even more pointedly. What reason have you given people to buy their tickets early? What have you announced? I have dozens of messages from people today that I put this out there saying that they find it hard to buy tickets, not because they're not going to go. They plan on going. They want to bring their kids. These are autograph people who want to get autographs from people who went last year. I know people who loved the event last year, but still don't want to buy right now. You want to know why? Because they can't go every day. They want to know which way to go, and they're not going to make the decision of which day to go until they know who's there and who's signing autographs. How do you have a pre-sale without announcing who's going to be there and what days they're going to be there? How do you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. And then to announce it and say, hey, because you were there last year, the bonus we're giving you is to be able to buy early. Again, you're a Yankee season ticket holder and you want to buy the Yankee World Series tickets. You are buying playoff tickets. You're buying a hot concert event that you know is going to sell out immediately. That makes sense. This, however, is not that type of a ticket. No matter how much you want to pose it as that, this is not something that there is a mad dash to go and buy tickets for. It's just not. And if it was, to make it that, you need to put something out there to make it something that people want to rush to go buy. And it doesn't necessarily have to cost you anything. You know what I mean? Obviously, they spent a lot of money on last year's event, so they want to get the tickets sold sooner. Why? Because they want to use your money that you're paying for tickets to fund their event instead of laying the money out. Makes sense. I have no problem with that. But if you're trying to get our money early, right, what do we get for it? $5 off? 10% off? Some store credit on Fanatics products in our LCS? Credit to use while we're there at a dealer's table. An upgrade on your ticket. If you were there last year and you bought a level 5 ticket, we're going to let you buy a level 4 ticket for the same price. That's your bump up, your ticket upgrade. If you bought a VIP last year, we're going to let you pay the VIP ticket price for a platinum VIP. Is that so hard? Now you got a ticket, you got somebody there, you got your money early, and you're giving some value to it. How about you don't have to know what your product is going to be, right? You did your Topps Chrome last year with the city in the background, the New York in the background. I'm not even talking about the Cactus Jack, Travis Scott, but it would be great if you had that. But you're going to have some specific product there. Why not? If you buy a VIP, you're guaranteed to get that. Skip the line. You still have to buy it, but skip the line to get the product. Not the high-end stuff. No. What I was advised today is that if you buy early, you get free shipping on your ticket. There's some fan cash, something or other for the pre-sale partner, which is nondescript and not really explained. And I didn't really see much else. The ability to buy a Zion case. I saw that too. It's not that hard to create value for this, right? I mean, there are partners there who would probably work with you on it. People who are going to be there, right? I mean, hell, Tag Grading's going to be there generating, those cards that they make, right? Where it's like, take your picture and they put it in and they slab it. It's like your own custom card. I mean, tell anybody who buys a ticket now, work with Tag, buy one, get one free on that. I'm sure they would. Tag would do it in a second. Right? Work with your partners. They didn't do that yet because they don't even have their partners lined up, I don't think, because they don't know who's buying the booths. They don't know who's buying the tables because even the pricing on the tables for the partners literally just came out very recently. So they haven't lined that up yet. So it's very hard to line up sort of like a partner kind of giveaway and stuff. So it's it's an interesting thing to see because they have an entire marketing team around this, and yet it doesn't take much. Come up with a card, right? Come up with a card. Hell, make it a Wemby card. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys did this Mercury stuff. Come up with a card that's a New York Fan Fest exclusive, 2025. Only for people who were there last year. It's almost like, in the NFT worlds, they had like POAPs, right? Proof of attendance, right? Pins. Lids, hats, whatever they're going to do, right? I mean, they should have, if you were there last year and you're coming again, you're a two-timer, been there since day one, badge. Who the hell knows? Make people feel special without a crazy cost to you and knowing that it's a card thing. Give people an option, right? We'll give you the ability, if you buy a VIP ticket and you were there last year, to skip the line or have a special VIP entrance line on one of 5 autograph signers. or a free signature from one guy who's a Fanatics athlete, or one Fanatics athlete. Or if you don't want that, pick a $25 credit from someone, at a table on Fanatics merchandise, or $25 towards purchase of cards at the show. I mean, something, anything, right? Get some buzz going. Get people thinking about buying early because there's something that they're getting for it. Right now, I just don't see that. Maybe I'm wrong. From the comments I got, some of the comments I couldn't put on my story, a lot of people want to have a dunk tank with influencers. They want to see me and Jeff Wilson and a couple of other people in a dunk tank. they want to throw a ball and dunk. But, which, by the way, I should have started this off. I had a blast at FanFest last year. I will be going. Seriously, I'll be going. So with all that stuff, with all this talk, I will be there. I want to make sure you know my son had a blast. I ran the 40-yard dash because my son asked me to. Not because it was on camera and that somebody could see it and I could post it, because he said, let's race. Let's run a 40. Really hurt my hamstring because I'm old and fat, but I ran the 40 and I limped around for the rest of the day. And he had a blast. He played soccer. There were so many great activations. And we're not even wrestling fans. I could care less about that. But man, people who were there for wrestling really had a blast. They really had a good time. They loved that experience. And he had fun. And he had, the cards that were there and the whole deal. And I mean, I will be there at least for one day, maybe more. I was there for 2 last time. The issue I have is, why would I buy the ticket now? I don't know what day I can take him. I don't know what day I want to take him. I have friends who want to go and meet wrestlers. I can't tell them, hey, by the way, I'm going to buy my ticket. Let's go on Saturday because this person, and Cody Rhodes or whatever are going to be there. And we can get your Money in the Bank case signed. Can't do that. Why do it early? It doesn't make sense. So I said 20 minutes. That leaves me like 3 minutes on Beckett, guys. And I think I only need 30 seconds. There's been a lot of posts about Beckett this week. Why? Because the gem rate stuff came out. I love gem rate. Ryan does a great job with that stuff. I love that gem rate stuff. Couple fun things to note. A lot more days last month in October than there were in November. November, I think, only had 19 business days in it. Remember, we had Thanksgiving holiday. And even last November, I think there were 20 business days and only 19 in this November. So when you're doing those comparisons, like the daily numbers for PSA were actually up. On a per day, how many cards they were doing basis. It looks like it's down, but it's not. It's those little hidden things that you got to read to show the numbers are down. But they're not really down. They're up. It's just, the difference in numbers. That said, I mean, Beckett's numbers were like non-existent almost. And a lot of people were making videos. Beckett, what Beckett? I got to tell you something. First time I'm going to say this. Who cares? Beckett's irrelevant now. I can't believe here we are, almost 2025, 2024. I'm in my late 40s. I don't care about Beckett. I don't care about them at all because they don't care about you. The brand has been tarnished, I believe, beyond repair. I don't have any cards left in Beckett slabs, and if I did, I would move them over to a PSA slab. And PSA is not paying me to say that, and it shouldn't be anything shocking. And the PSA is grading over 1 million cards a month, and what did Beckett grade? A couple thousand? Sports cards, I think, were 20-something thousand, 30-something thousand total cards in sports, What's a Beckett? Is Beckett 9 sell for less than Raw? Beckett 9 mint? At this point in time, I'd be nervous having a card in a Beckett slab. The future of the company is, who the hell knows? And they're not really grading too many cards. CGC is running laps around them. SGC is running laps around them. They're a distant fourth. And the kid in me is stunned by that because Beckett was the name, man. Didn't matter. Yeah, Topps was huge, right? Upper Deck was awesome. We all loved the cards. We loved it, but Beckett was the guide. That was Dr. Beckett. Beckett grading, which, by the way, was the standard for a while. You see a lot of big cards still in those Beckett slabs. A lot less now because people are moving them over. A lot of reasons for it. You all know the crazy drama that's going on with ownership, but no money back behind it. And I want you to take a second and think about the kind of value that's in these slabs. Think about the money you personally have in your slabs. The money that's out there when Sotheby's and Fanatics does an auction, or Ken Golden does his Golden 100, or REA has their auctions. Not a lot of vintage in Beckett cards, in Beckett slabs. But Heritage does their big auctions. Think of the millions of dollars every month they get auctioned, the cards that are in slabs. PSA has a guarantee. And people coming into the space, if you believe that there's money coming in, investment coming in, people looking at this as an alternate asset class, they trust the PSA slab and label more. Because if they're going to put 50, 100, 200, $1 million as an investment in a card, they know that if there's anything wrong with that card, PSA is going to stand by it. Stand by the grade, stand by the slab. You don't have that same level of confidence with Beckett. And I believe that is what has changed the landscape a lot. I believe, you have people out there who are, putting millions of dollars into cards, and they are willing to take a PSA 6 instead of a Beckett 8 on some of these cards. Because they want the card in the PSA slab. They want the PSA set registry. They want to build their sets of these cards in all PSA. And even though there is a quote-unquote decrease in grade, a lot of cards like PMGs and RPAs and stuff, the thick cards, they do, the chipping, the edges, the surface grades, you name it, they come down. I mean, the cards usually grade 2 grades less. But people want the card in the PSA slab because it gives them confidence in the card that you don't get in a Beckett slab. It's just as simple as that. So people talking about Beckett. Is Beckett done? Is Beckett going on? What's happening with Beckett? Honestly, at this point in time, who cares? Sad to say it, because I am a huge fan of Beckett, and you guys who've listened to me for 1,200 episodes know what a fan of Beckett I was as a kid, know what a fan of Beckett I was as recently as last year. Graded with Beckett. I have MB cards I graded with Beckett, I just don't see anything changing at Beckett. Fingers crossed. I mean, I hope it does. But until there's some monumental shift there, change of ownership, some clarity on the going forward basis, why would you buy a card in a Beckett slab? I don't have an answer for you. And there's a show. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I said 20 minutes, about 24 minutes. Check out my stories about the FanFest post. Send me a message, send me a DM. Let me know if I was on your Spotify Wrapped, because I'd love to talk to you. Check out Arena Club, guys. They got slab packs available. Check out Bleecker Trading, trade nights all the time. They got one coming up with overtime on December 10th. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little punchy today. A little punchy. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody.